Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we're going to talk about killing entities, non-player characters that have fallen into death saves, right? That are fallen into death saves, and also even just talking about entities having death saves. So I want to jump into this. So this is coming from my current Pokey D&D Next Generation Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I play in a 6-hour Dungeons and Dragons campaign weekly right now, and which breaks every rule. I'm a short game guy. I really like short games, but the reason why I've dived into this is this group has everything. They have amazing players, they have an absolutely amazing game space. And they have one of the best dungeon masters in the world. He's just really brilliant, and he has an encyclopedic knowledge of Pokemon, and he has an incredible love for the intellectual property of Pokemon. So I'm all in. So I'm playing. So here's what happened. So I am playing a Golett, right, which is a ghost ground creature, ghost ground, which is very unusual, right? And ghost ground type, right? And so it's quite interesting Pokemon. And and my Golett's name is Dremor. So my Golett is traveling with this group, the player character group, which is comprised of a Vulpix, a Curlia. Who else is in there? There's a few. A Lucario. A Riolu. It hasn't reached the Lucario phase yet. A Riolu. An Aeron. An Aeron. Quite a few, right? So we're moving along, and we come to a raid, right? So basically, we're specifically in the forest. Actually, we're traveling through the wilderness, and we get attacked by 2 Geodudes and a Golem. And we're in a cavern, and they start throwing rocks down on us, right? So immediately, there's also a Pancham. I love them. The Pancham is a great pick. That's a great Pokemon. So the Pancham. So all of us start battling this Geodudes and this Golem. So we're able to knock out one of the Geodudes. We're able to knock out one of the Golems, and then I got a chance at the top of the hill because we were in this cavern and they were throwing rocks down at us. We knocked out 2 of the 3. We knocked out the Golem, which is the higher evolution of the Geodude, of the Geodudes. We knocked out one of the Geodudes, and then I got to try to befriend one of these Geodudes, but I failed every charisma roll, and I wasn't able to befriend him, and this Geodude ran off, right? So I look down from the cavern, and I see my player. I see the Curlia player character, and there's also a Houndour, okay? And the Houndour player character, they are going to kill the Golem and the Geodude. And these creatures are in death saves. They're in death saves, right? So right now, there's a mechanical aspect for me, and there is a narrative aspect for me, and there is a social aspect for me. So socially, as a person, I find killing Pokemon repugnant. I find anyone who would kill a wounded soldier, a wounded animal, and would kill them outright to make sure that they don't get up and attack again. That's what the group said. They said, we have experienced the Dungeon Master have a Pokemon pop out of death saves and attack us again. So now we kill every Pokemon we come across when they're in death saves. And so first of all, I'm only into my 3rd session with this group. Personally, as a person, I really wanted to say, hey, this is wrong. This is way wrong. You guys should not do this, right? It's convenient from the narrative perspective of the game, but this is twisting your soul. like there's when we play and this is when and I really struggle, right? Because I can't like if it were up to me, I'd just talk to everybody all day about, how Dungeons and Dragons is incredibly important and how it can make you a better person. But if you're not careful, it can make you a worse person, right? And if you get into the pattern in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign of killing downed opponents, I think it warps you a little bit as a person, personally, right? Now, these are all good people. I'm at this table because I really feel these people are playing Dungeons and Dragons at exactly the frequency I want to play at. Very serious, very intense, very adamant, very high quality, very dedicated. This is everything I want. And these are good aligned people. But this is a bad action, in my humble opinion, right? Now, now I wanted to say that at the table. I just wanted to rail against it and say, this is totally wrong, right? But there's this social aspect, right? I have sunk costs here. I'm 3 games in, right? And I want to make and I don't think everybody at the table understands this yet, right? When you sit down with people at a table, you owe a burden to them. You owe them to make their experience dealing with you pleasant, right? It would not have been pleasant for me to give them some moral lecture at the table. Oh, hey guys, I'm new. I'm 3 sessions in. Let me tell you how you're making bad choices. That would not have been a blessing to them. They're having an enjoyable time. I don't want to yuck their yum, right? So I held my tongue. That's a social choice, right? Mechanically, they are making the best choice. Because it means their characters are guaranteed to move forward, and they get XP for it, and they can loot the bodies. Mechanically, it's the best choice. It's not even debatable. Mechanically, it's the best choice. Socially, IRL, it's a terrible choice, in my opinion. Okay? Narratively, it's a bad choice. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? This Dungeon Master is fantastic. I actually think this Dungeon Master is a better Dungeon Master than me. But here, he got it wrong. Very wrong, right? And the reason why is he cares about the narrative of Pokemon, right? In Pokemon, Ash did not kill, Ash was not killing Pokemon that he had knocked out and were in death saves, making their rolls, right? So narratively, this actually does not, in any possible way, this really does not fit the Pokemon narrative. It simply doesn't. It's a wrong choice, right? Now, where do we go from here? One of the things is, everybody at that table was comfortable with these Pokemon kills but me, right? Now, first of all, how do I deal with this going forward, right? Well, one of the things is I got a heavy lift narratively, right? I need to convince them with my Golett that we need to stop killing Pokemon that we've knocked out, right? And that's going to take many sessions, because I could make a big, long 10, 20-minute speech and castigate them and, implore them. But what I really should be doing is taking every opportunity this happens and saying, and I'll just have my character go up and weep for this dead Pokemon. I'm not going to like give a big speech and lecture my fellow players, but I'm going to take 30 seconds and say, my player character goes over to the dead Ninetales, puts his hand on his shoulder and cries tears. That's enough, right? And that's one clue, and I can build those clues over time. And I think the people I'm playing with at this table, they are all good aligned in real life, in my humble opinion, right? And I think that I have a possibility of convincing them. And I want to make a confession to you: if they don't change, what alignment is Scott Garibay? Because if they don't change, I ain't leaving the game. And I will watch these Pokemon murdered to stay at this incredibly high quality, incredibly intense, incredibly adamant, incredibly serious Dungeons & Dragons table. What's that say about me? Might push me down into the neutral alignment as an IRL person. I don't know. In fact, I don't know, but I know who can tell me. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion, and I'm not sure. What alignment is Scott Garibay? If I stay at a table where they murder Pokemon every single possibility, every single time they possibly can, does that push me into neutral alignment? I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.